I'm Arenda Holladay, and this video is going to be about twisted decreases. Now, most of the videos that I do are for the students in the various classes I teach for the Knitting Guild Association. And this isn't something that is necessarily tested in the basics course, but it is tested in the Module 1 of the Professional Knitter Certification. And it's just a good thing to be able to recognize twisted decreases. Now, if you look at this swatch, you can see that I've got 2 decreases here, 2 decreases here, 2 here, 2 there. And these are much more noticeable, primarily because of how they're formed. They just are twisted. The other thing I'd like you to see is that the first 2 I have, the top stitch, the top of the decrease that's on top of the other stitch is twisted, but the stitch below it is not. And the same is true over here. The top stitch is twisted, but this one is not. Now you can tell the difference between them because at the base, if I look at the base of this stitch, this leg is over the other leg. And for untwisted, the legs of the stitch are open at the bottom. Now, twisted stitches are almost always more noticeable, and so you wouldn't be using them unless you're doing them for decorative purposes to shape a garment. But when you would see these types of decreases is in lace, because lace often is a combination of decreases and yarn overs. And because these are more noticeable, they will use them for emphasis in lace, say to shape a leaf or something, and that's where you'll see them. And you can see that they are a bit more noticeable, say, than these guys right here. Now, to make these, and the primary reason I'm doing this for my basic students as well, is that this occurs quite frequently. And it's where you work an SKP decrease wrong. And if you work it wrong, it's going to be twisted. I forgot to mention that in the SKP video I did yesterday. I've had some students do this one because they've misinterpreted how to do a decrease. And they think that it's, for some reason, they're working it through the back. But normally, if you're going to do a twisted decrease, you're doing it on purpose. This is the only one really where you might make one by mistake, and that's the reason that I primarily want to discuss this. Let me move that out of the way and put here so that I don't have a glare from my table. Okay, let me get my hands in a good position first. Scooch that over a bit. So confusing. All right. An SKP is where I slip the first stitch and then I pass it over the next stitch after it's been knitted. And if you do an SKP, you know that you always lift that stitch and slip it knitwise. If you slip it purlwise, and then you knit the stitch and pass it over, it is going to be twisted at the base. We'll do another one of those actually right here. I'm going to slip the stitch purlwise and then knit the next stitch, and it is twisted. Now, to do the right slanting version of this, these are the left slanting, I have to, and I'm going to do one right here because I'm running out of stitches, I would have to shift the stitches around and slip them. I'm going to slip this one to the needle. Got a split stitch there. Slip that to the needle, and I'm just shifting it over, and I'm going to slip this and change its orientation on the needle. So notice that this stitch looks the way it normally would if I were just going to knit it. I haven't adjusted it at all. This stitch I've adjusted, and when I work those two stitches together, notice that, and yeah, just like I'm knitting them together, this one is open at the bottom and this one is twisted. Let's do that one again. Okay, here's how my stitches are adjusted normally. I'm just going to shift that one over here, change the orientation on that one, return that one to the needle. So this one is regular, this one is twisted, and then I'm going to knit them together. Whoops, this yarn is a little splitty today. Okay, so those are the twisted on the top, open on the bottom. I'm going to work a purl row, and we'll do the double twist ones. If you are a student in my basics class, your handout will have a description of this as well. Okay, let me go in here, and let's do my first left slanting one. So now you know that when you do an SSK, you shift them and then you return them and then you work them through the back. What if you don't shift them around? What if you just forget that and work them through the back? And I've had students do this before. You get a twisted left decrease. So it's kind of similar to an SSK, you just don't adjust the position. And notice that both of them are twisted, the one on the top and the one on the bottom. And to do the right slanting version, you adjust the position, and this is very similar to this guy, but instead of working them through the back, you work them through the front. So if you are doing a lace pattern and you decide that you want them both to be double twisted, it's just kind of a reverse of each other. It's kind of messy looking, isn't it? But those are twisted decreases.